Welcome, spicy ladies. Some people break when betrayed. A Sigma female builds. Let's be real. You don't get to hurt a Sigma female and walk away untouched. That kind of woman is not fragile. She is forged by silence, strengthened by solitude, and made wiser by pain. Trying to damage her is like trying to drown someone who has already learned how to breathe underwater. It will not go the way you think. She doesn't beg, she doesn't chase, and she definitely doesn't collapse. If anything, your attempt to break her only ends up pushing her closer to her next breakthrough. You see, she doesn't take betrayal as a loss. She takes it as a lesson. And while you're busy thinking you wounded her, she's quietly rebuilding and removing you from every part of her life that once included you. The harsh truth is, you didn't break her. You exposed yourself. You showed her the limits of your loyalty, the emptiness behind your words, and the weakness in your character. She files all that information away and moves on, not with bitterness, but with clarity. And here's the kicker. She won't try to get even. She doesn't need to. Life has a way of circling back. While you lose access to her energy, her presence, and her loyalty, she gains more focus, more peace, and more strength. So before you try to hurt a Sigma female, ask yourself this. Can you handle the silence when she no longer looks your way? Because that silence will echo. Let's get started. The spicy ladies. 1. She's not built for pity. She's built for reinvention. That's where most people get her completely wrong. When someone hurts a Sigma female, they often expect her to fall apart, to seek sympathy, to beg for answers or explanations. But she doesn't collapse under pressure. She recalculates. She upgrades. She rebuilds herself quietly. And what comes out on the other side is a stronger, sharper, more focused version of who she was before. Trying to make her feel small doesn't shrink her. It awakens her. That pain you thought would crush her, she turns it into power. You may see silence, but underneath something incredible is happening. She's editing her boundaries. She's deleting the access you once had. She's reshaping her goals. And when she steps out of that storm, she doesn't return with the same softness you once knew. She returns with clarity and a quiet fire that refuses to die down. Take this as an example. You think she'll spend days replaying your betrayal, waiting for your apology. But what she's really doing is upgrading her life. She's hitting the gym, learning new skills, cutting off distractions, getting sharper with her decisions, and setting a new standard that people like you won't meet again. You tried to push her down, but you actually launched her forward. You tried to make her question her worth, but you only reminded her of what she will no longer tolerate. And when she reinvents herself, she does it so well that even your memory becomes irrelevant. You'll scroll through her photos or catch a glimpse of her thriving and realize the person you tried to break is now someone far beyond your reach. Sigma females don't chase pity. They chase growth. And if you try to dim their light, they don't argue. They just become the sun. 2. Your worst insult becomes her best material. Most people throw words around without realizing the kind of person they're aiming at. A Sigma female does not forget. She doesn't explode or throw insults back. She listens. She takes note. And instead of letting your words break her, she turns them into fuel. Call her too cold. She'll master her emotions so nothing can shake her again. Say she's not good enough. She'll make sure the next time you see her, you feel embarrassed for ever doubting her. Try to tear her down with sarcasm or passive judgment. She'll remember it word for word and quietly build the kind of life that leaves you completely irrelevant. For her, your insult is not a wound, it's a blueprint. It shows her exactly where others try to define her limits, and that's exactly where she'll push harder. While you thought you were clever with your jabs, she was turning those very lines into motivation, molding herself into someone who no longer needs your validation or your presence. Here's the thing. She's the type of woman who turns "you'll never be able to do that" into "watch me do it better than anyone you've ever met." She's the woman who remembers the tone, the smirk, the timing of every attempt to make her feel small, not to cry about it, but to make sure her glow up is undeniable. You thought you won when she stayed silent, but she was just storing everything in the vault. And when she reemerges, thriving, and unbothered. Those same words you used to bring her down will be the reason she's 10 steps ahead of you. With a Sigma female, nothing is wasted, not even your cruelty, especially not your cruelty. You gave her the script, and she flipped the whole story. Right now, if you're still watching, I hope this video can help you. Your comments motivate me so much, so I can make more videos which you like. So hit that subscribe button and leave me a message. Let's continue. 3. She doesn't heal to be kind. She heals to evolve past your level. When a Sigma female goes through pain, especially the kind that comes from betrayal or emotional games, she doesn't heal for the sake of being the bigger person. She doesn't fix herself just to make peace or to welcome you back in. Her healing has nothing to do with anyone else. It's about reclaiming her space, her clarity, and her power. You see, she's not sitting in a corner hoping for closure. She's not praying you'll come back and make things right. What she's doing is peeling back every layer of pain and asking herself the hard questions. Why did she let it go that far? What did she ignore? What will she never ignore again? She's not healing to forgive you. She's healing to understand herself more deeply and to make sure she never entertains anything beneath her standards again. Her growth is not a peace offering. It's a separation. She's growing to make sure she never lowers herself to your level again. For example, you once thought you could manipulate her emotions, keep her on standby, or make her feel like she wasn't enough. Now she sees through it all. She's not healing to one day text you back. She's healing to make sure you never even cross her mind again. This woman doesn't just bounce back, she upgrades her entire life. She changes her pace, her circle, and her mindset. She starts moving in silence. Her glow up is not for revenge. It's her way of never sitting at that same emotional table again. For you didn't destroy her, you just revealed yourself. And that's the part people never expect. They think if they pull away, betray her trust, lie to her face, or throw emotional punches, she'll crumble. But she doesn't. She stands still, watches everything play out, and sees you for who you really are. That's where the shift happens, not in her breaking, but in her seeing you without the mask. Sigma females don't beg for love or acceptance. They give people chances, sure, but once you show your true colors, even by accident, they never forget. You thought you were taking her down. You thought you had power. But what you really did was give her clarity. You saved her time. You exposed your own emotional limits, and she quietly took the lesson and moved on. What makes it hurt even more? She doesn't hate you. She doesn't throw dirt on your name. She just sees you differently now. And once that view changes, it never goes back. You didn't destroy her confidence. You confirmed her instincts. You didn't damage her heart. You proved your presence was never as solid as she thought. While you might still be convincing others of your innocence, deep down you'll know. You were never strong enough to match her depth. 5. Her loyalty is surgical. Once severed, it's irreversible. This isn't the kind of woman who gives out loyalty like it's nothing. A Sigma female doesn't trust easily, and when she finally does, it's deep. It's all in. She remembers the little things, stands by you when no one else does, and shows up in ways most people only talk about. But here's the thing, once you betray that, it's over. No slow fade, no messy back and forth. She doesn't revisit what's already burned. If you cross her once, you won't get a warning sign. You won't even get a dramatic exit. What you'll get is a clean, emotional cut. One that doesn't leave room for discussion. One that feels like you were never even there. You become a past version of yourself in her story. A character that served a purpose, then got written out. Not with bitterness, not with anger, but with precision. Let's say you lied, manipulated, or played with her emotions. You might expect a reaction, but with her, the reaction is silence. It's detachment. She won't chase. She definitely won't explain. She'll delete the connection from her life like it never happened. 6. You may think she's alone. She's actually surrounded by silence that sharpens her. Most people misunderstand solitude. They see it as weakness or punishment, especially when someone pulls back or disappears from the noise. But a Sigma female, she thrives in it. What looks like isolation to others is where she becomes unstoppable. The quiet is not empty for her. It's full of clarity, discipline, and self-mastery. You might think walking away from her or pushing her into silence will make her feel small, that she'll start second-guessing herself, needing someone to remind her of her worth. But the opposite happens. You don't take anything from her when you leave. You give her room to become more dangerous in the best way possible. She's not texting 10 people for advice. She's not drowning in noise to distract herself. She's sitting in that silence, asking herself real questions, cutting off dead weight, building a sharper mindset, and unlocking versions of herself you were never prepared for. Silence does not consume a Sigma female. It sculpts her. It clears out the static so she can hear her own thoughts, her own truth, her own next move. And when she comes back, she doesn't return the same. She returns upgraded, grounded, and completely untouchable. 7. She's not out to destroy you, but life will handle that for her. A Sigma female doesn't waste her time plotting revenge. She doesn't go around trying to get even or make you feel the pain you caused her. That's not her style. Her silence is her answer. Her absence is her response. While you're expecting drama or some loud comeback, she simply walks away with her dignity intact and your access revoked. Here's the part people don't see coming. The consequences of losing her don't come from her hands. They come from life itself. Not because she wished bad on you, but because when you lose someone that rare, life reminds you of it over and over again. You'll feel it in moments that catch you off guard. Quiet days when no one gets you like she did. Conversations that feel shallow after knowing the way her mind worked. Relationships that lack the calm and emotional intelligence she carried so effortlessly. No, she's not sitting in a corner praying for karma to catch up. She's too busy rising, too focused on becoming everything you said she couldn't be. But life has a funny way of showing people what they missed. And when it does, it won't be poetic. It'll be brutal. 8. She never needed your approval, only your authenticity. That's the part most people misunderstand. A Sigma female isn't out here trying to impress anyone. She's not looking for constant praise, compliments, or permission to be who she is. All she wants is realness, honesty, the raw truth, even if it's messy. If you can't offer that, she'll never fully open up to you. And once she senses you're playing games, it's already over in her mind. If you lied with a straight face, twisted her reality, or shifted blame to suit your comfort, you didn't just fail, you exposed your own weakness. She caught it the moment it slipped. That blank stare, that quiet withdrawal, that was her seeing right through you. That was her mentally checking out while you were still talking. She doesn't want perfection. She wants truth. She doesn't care if you've made mistakes. She just needs to know you can own them. But if all you offer is manipulation masked as charm, she won't even waste her breath. Your approval never mattered. Your transparency did. 9. You can't ruin someone who's already faced herself. A Sigma female has done the kind of work most people avoid their whole lives. She's had nights where she sat alone with nothing but her thoughts and faced every uncomfortable truth head on. She's questioned her choices, her fears, her pain, and every part of herself that wasn't serving her anymore. She's torn herself down and rebuilt from scratch, not to impress anyone, but to become someone she can live with in full honesty. So when someone comes along thinking they can break her with mind games, silent treatments, or emotional manipulation, it doesn't work. Not because she's numb, but because she's already gone deeper than you ever could. She's explored the dark corners of her mind and made peace with them. She knows who she is. She knows where she's been. And most importantly, she knows who she'll never let near her again. You tried to find her weak spots, but all you really did was expose your own. You didn't ruin her. You reminded her that not everyone has the courage to do the inner work, and that's not her burden to carry. 10. When she lets go completely. With a Sigma female, there is no middle ground. No, let's talk later. No slow fade that gives false hope. Once you hurt her in a way that crosses her core boundaries, it's over. Not with drama, not with rage, just with a calm, cold exit that leaves nothing behind but silence. She doesn't believe in dragging out what's already dead. If trust is broken, if respect is lost, or if your presence becomes toxic, She detaches on a level most people can't understand. You won't get warnings. You won't get second chances. You'll get distance so sharp it feels like you were never there to begin with. Let's say you try to come back later, maybe after realizing what you lost. You might send a message, make a call, or even show up in person. But all you'll find is a door that no longer opens. Because the moment she decided to let go, she didn't just walk away. She emotionally deleted the version of you she once held space for. With a Sigma female, goodbye means gone. Not to punish you, but to protect the peace she fought hard to find. Once she's done, there's no rewind button, only silence. And your name no longer belongs in her story. 11. She doesn't fight for attention. She erases herself from your life without noise. A Sigma female will never beg to be seen. She's not wired for drama, for emotional outbursts, or long back and forth arguments. When she feels disrespected, dismissed, or betrayed, she doesn't try to prove her worth. She doesn't shout. She doesn't explain. She simply leaves, quietly, completely, and without hesitation. That silence, it's not emptiness. It's her final message. While most people react loudly when they're hurt, hoping someone will care enough to fix it, the Sigma woman disappears. No closure, no warning. She doesn't need to tell you why. Deep down, you already know. You'll replay her silence in your head, wondering, when did the shift happen? Why did she stop replying? Why did everything suddenly go cold? And that's when the haunting begins. Not because she ghosted you, but because she did it with such certainty that it makes you question everything you thought you knew. For her, absence is louder than words. She knows her worth, and begging to be understood by the wrong person is a waste of time. So instead of chasing clarity from someone who couldn't meet her emotionally, she gives herself closure, quietly, privately, completely. You're left with echoes, conversations that now mean nothing, moments you took for granted. Someone who was once there in full, now gone without a trace. She didn't leave to teach you a lesson. She left because you already failed the test. 12. She turns betrayal into fuel. Most people get stuck when they're betrayed. They break down, lose themselves, or spend months trying to understand why someone they trusted turned cold. A Sigma female doesn't fall apart like that. The betrayal still cuts deep, but instead of staying wounded, she uses the pain to spark something even more powerful. She doesn't sit around replaying what happened. She takes that emotional hit and turns it into drive. She channels it into her goals, her focus, her mindset. The same energy that could have destroyed her becomes the exact thing that propels her forward. Let's say someone cheated, lied, or deeply disrespected her. She doesn't seek revenge. She doesn't beg for answers. What she does is step into a new season, emotionally sharper, mentally clearer, financially stronger. She starts showing up for herself in ways she once showed up for others. She becomes more intentional, more grounded, more untouchable. What most people don't expect is how far she will go, not just to heal, but to evolve. By the time the person who betrayed her circles back to see if the door is still open, she's already become someone they no longer recognize. Someone so locked in, so focused, so aligned, that even being in her presence again feels intimidating. You didn't break her. You built her. But you won't be around to benefit from what you helped create. That's what will sting the most. Watching her win from a distance, realizing she took the very moment you thought would destroy her and used it to write a whole new story. That's how a Sigma female operates. She turns betrayal into fuel and heartbreak into legacy. You don't break a Sigma female. You just give her another reason to evolve. If there's one thing you need to understand, it's this. She doesn't chase attention. She doesn't crumble when people walk away. She doesn't spend time proving her worth to anyone who fails to see it. Trying to hurt her is never the power move you think it is. It only exposes your own weakness because she isn't sitting in the wreckage waiting for someone to fix her. She's already moving, already adjusting, already becoming someone stronger than before. She doesn't heal just to smile again. She heals so she never lets the same kind of pain in twice. She studies what hurt her, turns it into purpose, and walks forward carrying wisdom instead of wounds. And when she lets go, it's not temporary. It's final, quietly, fully, and with a grace that will make you question how you ever thought she needed you. Because the truth is, she never did. She's not cold. She's clear. She's not bitter. She's selective. Her love runs deep, but her boundaries run deeper. To every Sigma female listening, your silence has power. Your detachment is wisdom. Your growth is the loudest response to anyone who tried to break you. And to the Sigma males watching, this kind of woman does not fear loneliness. She respects herself too much to settle. So if you ever cross her path, come correct. Not with charm, but with truth. Not with control, but with presence. Because anyone who tries to break a Sigma female never wins. They just write themselves out of a story they never deserved to be in. Stay true to yourself. To all the spicy ladies make life beautiful, thank you for watching and God bless.